Ivy seemed to have chosen the wrong person to pursue. She mistook me for the male lead and chased after me for 3 whole years. She transferred money to me, even for buying a house. I accepted it all without batting an eyelid. I could hear her inner voice, yet my power-up progress remained stagnant. Could it be that she wasn't giving enough? I pretended not to notice, and the money she gave me increased day by day, until one day she finally realized she had been pursuing the wrong person. When I was little, my family was so poor that I mumbled every day, if only money would fall from the sky. Until I met Ivy, money really did fall from the sky. Another man and I joined Ivy's company. His name was Cole. My name and his were quite coincidentally similar. Cole had deep eyes and a refined appearance. He was proactive at work and lively, always vying to do everything, just like the male lead in a novel, solely focused on advancement. On the last day of that month, Ivy, the CEO, suddenly summoned the new interns from that month to her office. So, Cole and I stood facing Ivy in her office. Ivy leaned back in her black chair. Her eyebrows and eyes were very beautiful, but the noble aura emanating from her was suffocating. This was the face that frequently appeared in financial magazines, noble, aloof, radiantly shining. Ivy frowned, her gaze darting back and forth between Cole and me, finally settling on me. Just as I was wondering if I was about to be fired, I suddenly heard Ivy's inner voice. Forgot the name of the power-up target again. Seems like it was something Cole. But this guy on the right is more handsome, probably the male lead. Moreover, his family is unbelievably poor. Yes, definitely him. Smitten. I was indeed the guy on the right. On the last day of the month, because I was too poor, I was diagnosed as the male lead in a novel. I had doubted if I was hallucinating, but Ivy's bizarre inner voice became clearer and clearer. I tried to remain calm, inwardly chanting democracy, civilization, harmony. Fake it. Fake it. I had said that working overtime too much would harm the brain. As if echoing my thoughts, Ivy spoke confidently. Company will only keep one of you. Cole, the guy on the right, you stay. The other one, go and do the resignation procedures. I stared at Ivy in astonishment. Her inner voice echoed again. Such a decisive breakup. He will definitely have a good impression of me. Keeping both is also fine. I would also have a good impression. Such a big company only keeping one person just makes me look stingy. I glanced at Cole. He was full of disbelief, anger, and disappointment. I hesitated for a moment, then tentatively probed. Cole's workability is better than mine. If the inner voice I heard is real, then Cole and I can both stay. If the inner voice I heard is fake, then I don't need to work anymore. What's the point of working with an abnormal mind? Ivy frowned, and my heart also tightened, but then she relaxed her brow. Then both of you stay. Seems like I really got the mind-reading power. Leaving Ivy's office, Cole grabbed my hand tightly and said to me, don't be smug. Consider today as me owing you one. I will definitely pay you back in the future, and left. His peculiar attitude clarified everything. Cole was the real male lead of the novel. I was just a handsome guy who was too poor. Damn it. I originally planned to wait until I officially passed probation to tell Ivy that I was not the male lead. By then, the severance pay would be more. As a result, the next day at work, Ivy called me to her office again and said she wanted to increase my salary. Just as I was about to open my mouth to refuse, Ivy glared down and said, double it. Yes, thank you. I didn't dare imagine how much severance pay I would get when I was fired. To prove he was better than me, Cole worked diligently every day, almost living at the company. I said to him, Cole, you finally became the kind of person I hate the most. Cole mumbled with a mouthful of bread. Just wait and see. I will definitely let everyone know who is the most capable. Male lead remarks are truly outstanding. But perhaps he would never have guessed that he lost to me because my family was even poorer. All right, next time I will definitely let you win. 3 days later, Ivy called me to her office again. She looked at me without saying anything, and her inner voice echoed. Why is the power-up progress still stagnant? After meeting me and falling in love with me, shouldn't it be as simple as breathing? What kind of idiot would like Ivy instead of me? Not an idiot. She's very pretty. She's very capable. Coincidentally, my assistant just resigned. You take over his job. Her inner voice was a different tone. Probably the last 2 times we met were too short. The impression wasn't deep enough. Being an assistant and facing me every day like this it's hard not to fall in love. You're the idiot, lady. But I said, yes, thank you, Boss Ivy, for the reminder. Even a second of hesitation is disrespect to money. The assistant standing next to me looked like the sky had fallen. Smitten. Seems like he still doesn't know he's actually being fired. What a pitiful employee. It's okay. Wait till I pass probation and resign, and he can still come back. When Cole knew I became the CEO's assistant, the sky also fell for him. He trembled, pointed at me for a long while, and finally stomped his feet and left. Am I going to make the male lead angry to death? But it's okay. When everything is clear, Cole will definitely kick me down and beat me up. So safe, so looking forward to it. After becoming Ivy's assistant, I became so busy every day that I didn't even have time to look at Ivy. Lady, what bizarre method are you using to power me up? I can't take it anymore. I couldn't help but ask her, Boss Ivy, when will my probation procedures be completed? Ivy looked at the contract, 1 month. I cried out miserably, so long? The time I have to work like a dog and horse still has to be extended for so long. But Ivy's inner voice didn't think so. He wants to be my assistant that much? I saw the corner of her mouth curl into a faint smile, smitten again. But then her expression darkened. Why is the power-up progress still 0? Ivy, are you even looking at me? Humph. I also didn't know. Half a month later, Ivy looked at the stagnant power-up progress and began to ponder. She suddenly asked, what do you like? My mouth blurted out without thinking, money. The air was slightly silent. Increased again. What kind of male lead likes money? My poor life nature is finally exposed. Ivy's inner voice carried a hint of surprise, a truly special male lead. Unlike other male leads who don't like money. Smitten. This is also acceptable. Ivy gave me a lot of money. I trembled and pointed at Ivy. She frowned. Of course, the male lead still can't accept this method. He must receive money earned by himself. I hurriedly put on a kind smile. Thank you, boss. This money was obtained by taking advantage of Cole. After careful consideration, I decided to bear the pain and share it with him tomorrow, March 1st. Then she almost threw money in my face, her eyes full of stubbornness and anger. Don't even think about using money to insult me. Get your stinky money out of my sight. Classic lines. This is the reaction a male lead should have. Glad I'm not the male lead. Thinking about it. Anyway, Ivy gives this money to the male lead, and the male lead won't accept it. Might as well give it all to me. Give it all to me. Fleece the capitalist sheep, everyone gets a share. Feels like I'm doing justice for the people. From then on, Ivy's gaze at me became increasingly strange. Power-up progress, still 0. Could it be that I'm not giving enough? Or is saying he likes money just his facade? In reality, he doesn't care at all. Haha, just guess. Guessing won't cost you anything. Finally, I officially passed probation. I breathed a sigh of relief, planning to clarify everything with Ivy and then resign. Just as I knocked on Ivy's office door, Ivy handed me a gift box. Inside was a luxurious suit. Put this on and come to the party with me tonight. Now I want to resign, but I can't. Just as I was about to refuse righteously, I saw the diamond-studded watch glittering under her coat. Yes, Boss Ivy. I'll go change now. Looks like last time I really did give him too little. It seemed that last time I really gave him too little. First time attending such a luxurious party, I grabbed 3 glasses of red wine for pastries and secretly stuffed another 5 pastries into my coat pockets, planning to go home and post them online to earn extra money. Some people around me laughed at me, but I didn't care. I probably wouldn't meet them again in my life. Why should I care about them? Ivy was talking to someone else. Turning her head and seeing me, she frowned even higher than a mountain. I thought she would say I was embarrassing her. As a result, after a moment of silence, she also turned around and took 3 pastries and a glass of red wine, then handed them to me, her voice slightly helpless. Like to eat these? Eat a little more then. The snickers suddenly stopped. The glittering lights, tiny fragmented beams, shone on Ivy's face, softening the sharp lines on her face. I was stunned for a moment, then quietly turned my face away. In the car on the way back, I said, I think I won't do this job anymore. Ivy's eyes were slightly red with alcohol, glancing at me. Reason? I opened my mouth, wanting to say I wasn't the male lead, not the person she was pursuing, so she should fire me. But I found myself unable to speak. Damn it. I tried texting instead, but Ivy didn't see it or receive it. Understood. I can't say this. Ivy raised an eyebrow. Is it because the salary is too low? I'll double your salary again. My phone buzzed, receiving a transfer of $1 million. This is this quarter's bonus. I held my phone, looking at the balance for a long time. Male lead? Why am I not the male lead? Today, even if the Jade Emperor himself came, I would be the male lead. I ascended to heaven. It's not that I don't have a conscience, but the money she gave me was really too much. I thought as long as the power-up progress remained stagnant, Ivy would realize she had pursued the wrong person, but unexpectedly she was so incomprehensible. For 3 whole years, 3 years, she gave me money to buy a house, even promoted me. It felt like with a little more, the CEO position would be my turn. Yet, even so, Ivy's inner voice was still, could it be that I'm not giving enough? He doesn't like this type of car? This house is in a location he doesn't like. It was hard to imagine what kind of bottomless pit of greed Ivy had in her heart. At the year-end party, Cole, as the host, stepped onto the stage. Around him, employees whispered, "Cole really looks like a male lead from a novel." His mouth always spouts those classic, bizarre lines. That diligent and proactive look is also similar, and even that always poor vibe. Too bad the CEO doesn't fancy him. He has the configuration of a male lead but not the fate of one. Ivy, sitting next to me, suddenly sneezed. She looked up at the stage, looking at Cole with a firm and persistent gaze, then looked back at me who was lazily spacing out. Suddenly, she put down her wine glass, her voice deep and cold, word by word, clearly, "Cole, I frowned, but didn't believe she would suddenly see the light. If she had a bit of brain, she wouldn't have tangled with me for 3 years. Ivy's pupils were as black as ink, reflecting a coldness as if she was angry. I was panicking, worried, thinking I was about to face a storm of fury, when her inner voice suddenly echoed, "No wonder the progress is still 0. Turns out I found the wrong person." I said why Cole didn't fall for me. Isn't he supposed to be smitten with me? Lady, why are you messing this up? Next, I will pursue Cole. He will probably be heartbroken to death. Smitten. Although hearing Ivy's inner voice, it seemed like she already knew I was a fake. I didn't feel any guilt. She was the one who mistook me. What does it have to do with me? Every penny I received was received openly and honestly. Ivy stared at me for a while, finally just snorted coldly and turned her face away, leaving me with a cold nape. I followed her gaze. Cole on stage was shining like a star, the male lead of this world. Even if not loved by the female lead, he still shines brightly. It's okay. I touched the watch on my wrist, even more glittering. We NPCs have our own way of shining. I thought after knowing who the male lead was, Ivy would fire me, throw severance pay in my face, and scornfully say, "Take your money and get lost." I didn't dare imagine how happy I would be then. I waited for 3 days, finally waiting for Ivy to call me to her office. Cole was also there. Ivy said coldly, "Cole, hand over the work in your hands to Cole. This is your dismissal notice. From now on, you only need to be my assistant. I want Cole to witness with his own eyes how I pursue Cole, to make him heartbroken to death. This is the biggest revenge for Cole." Fortunately, Ivy confidently assumed that he was more important to me than money, so she chose to take revenge on me by reducing my workload. I pretended to be distressed, my voice trembling as I asked, "Then what about my salary?" Ivy's expression changed, her gaze stopping on my disappointed face. "Am I being too much?" She turned her face away, her voice slightly unnatural. "The salary will not be reduced for you." Pausing for a moment, she continued, "Increase it by half for you." "Ivy, have you been pursuing me for too long and formed a conditioned reflex?" Leaving the office, the corners of Cole's mouth were raised to his ears, gloatingly saying, "Cole, you see? Boss Ivy has discovered I am more capable than you and decided to value me more. You are about to be trampled under my feet by me." I said, "Oh," and asked him, "So your salary increased?" He was stunned, stammering, still not. I patted him on the shoulder. "Your salary didn't increase, but your work increased by a pile." "My work decreased by a pile, but my salary increased." Cole's eyes gradually became dazed, and after a moment, he suddenly understood. "Right." His voice also changed from the initial joy to gnashing his teeth. "What am I happy about? I knew no capitalist is good. Ivy didn't fire me, but I don't want to do it anymore either. Want to take the severance pay and run away immediately. But if I take the initiative to resign, I won't get severance pay. Isn't this digging out my heart and liver? I have to think of a way to make Ivy take the initiative to fire me." I deliberately pretended to be inefficient at work in front of Ivy. Ivy's inner voice echoed, "Cole is looking at me pursuing Cole." Normal people work so seriously, but now he's heartbroken to the point of not having the mind to work anymore. I raised my head to look at her with a helpless expression. She even secretly looked at me, want to hug him so much. He's heartbroken. Looking at someone so high and mighty, yet thinking about these things in her head. Stepping back and saying, even if I really liked Ivy, I wouldn't necessarily be heartbroken because she pursued Cole. Ivy's pursuit method is really bland, so bland that even if I was her boyfriend, I would be as calm as water. When Cole came to report his work, a smile also bloomed on his face, but that smile was even kinder than my grandpa's smile when looking at my innocent cousin. Combined with his facial features, it looked really bizarre, making Cole stammer in his speech. But no matter what Cole said, she just responded vaguely, "Very good. I trust you. If you think this plan is feasible, then just follow it." She said in a perfunctory manner, her gaze always looking towards me, clearly absent-minded. Cole's face flushed red. Ivy's inner voice still echoed. Cole just stammered and blushed when talking to me. This time, there should be no problem. At this time, Cole is probably heartbroken. Fortunately, the power-up progress is decided by Ivy. Immediately after, she couldn't smile anymore. Why is the power-up progress still 0? With her pursuit method, who exactly does she want to make heartbroken? I decided to start cooperating with Ivy's acting, fulfilling her wish to see me heartbroken. When she fulfilled her wish, she would fire me, right? So, I began my performance. Whenever she talked to Cole, I would secretly show my heartache. Whenever she mentioned Cole, my expression would change. As a result, when Ivy turned her head to look at me and saw my expression, her eyes were filled with panic. "Ivy, wake up. I'm just an NPC, not your male lead. Have you been pursuing me for too long and formed a conditioned reflex?" As for Cole, looking at Ivy now, then looking at me, there wasn't a trace of heartache in his eyes, only a face full of gossip. "Lady, your male lead doesn't seem to realize you were pursuing him. He's even gossiping about us." A month passed, Ivy's power-up progress was still 0. That day, she looked at me for a long time, muttering, "Time is running out." She spoke too softly, I couldn't hear clearly. Ivy suddenly arranged for me to go on a business trip. I was a little confused. Me, an assistant, leaving the boss behind and going on a business trip alone? Ivy seemed to know what I was thinking. "You go and discuss the cooperation with Kwangdu." I pointed at myself in surprise. "Me? If the negotiation is successful, your commission will increase." "Yes, boss, just leave it to me, no problem." When I arrived, I realized the cooperation had already been decided. I just needed to check the details and sign the contract. It felt like Ivy was just giving me money. On the 3rd day of the business trip, a colleague texted me. Boss Ivy gave flowers and a car to Cole. Just looking at them, you can tell they are all expensive things. So that's it. Ivy probably wanted to get rid of me, so she sent me away to pursue Cole. Also good, an NPC shouldn't interfere between the main characters. To give Ivy enough time, I planned to stay for 2 more days before returning to the company. She called and asked, "You still haven't finished negotiating?" I held my phone, dazed. There are still some details to be determined. Her voice was silent for a moment, then echoed again. "Okay, come back quickly." Before hanging up, she suddenly said again, "No, just take your time, no need to rush." "Yes." So, I extended it for 2 more days. After returning to the company, I went to find Ivy. Just pushing open the office door, Cole's voice echoed. My hand pushing the door paused, planning to retreat out, when I heard Cole blurt out, "Boss Ivy, I don't know what kind of quarrel you and Cole have, but you want to use the method of pursuing me to make him jealous. Cole is so angry that he doesn't want to come back to the company anymore. Stop it, Boss Ivy. I won't accept these things. Moreover, what kind of despicable person am I to need to become a part of your game?" Ivy frowned, hesitating. Cole continued, "Boss Ivy, although I respect you very much, but for you to deliberately act friendly to me in front of Cole to make him jealous, I think this tactic is very despicable." Male lead. Seems like he's defending me, scolding the female lead on my behalf. Ivy's expression became darker and darker. I stood outside the door, trying to hold back my laughter, but then I heard her inner voice. Is he crazy, or am I crazy? I'm the despicable one. Last life killing people, this life pursuing people. I couldn't help but burst out laughing. The sound inside suddenly fell silent. Cole turned his head and saw me, a little embarrassed. "Those things are all misunderstandings. Boss Ivy and I have nothing going on." Misunderstandings? Who is being misunderstood? Seeing that I didn't believe him, he turned to Ivy, who was spacing out. Boss Ivy, explain it. It's all misunderstandings. Ivy's gaze slowly looked at me, paused for a moment, and then uttered a few words. Smitten is a misunderstanding. Cole breathed a sigh of relief, blooming into a smile like a father seeing his children become successful. Misunderstandings being resolved is good. You two take your time to talk. I won't disturb you anymore. He even patted my shoulder when passing by, making a gesture of encouragement. Male lead, don't completely trust yourself too much. Our world seems to be collapsing. Ivy and I silently faced each other in the office, but I quickly realized this was a good opportunity to be fired. I immediately got into character, my whole body beginning to sway. Ivy's expression changed. I turned my face away. Boss Ivy, fire me. I know the person you really like is Cole, but I can't control my feelings. Every day I'm in pain like a knife cutting my heart. Nights are sleepless. With me here, Cole will always misunderstand you. Fire me. I can't bear to leave you. Ivy's eyes trembled slightly, revealing a hint of helplessness and emotion, but in the end she just turned her face away. Just come to the party with me tonight. Ivy is really nice. I'm about to resign, and she's still taking me out for a nice meal. Ivy has never drunk alcohol at parties before. Yet today, she drank glass after glass. The whole table was silent. No one dared to make a sound. The person in charge of phone company secretly pulled me aside and asked, "Is Boss Nyo unhappy with this cooperation?" I shook my head. No. He then mysteriously leaned closer. Did you two quarrel? I was stunned, hurriedly waving my hand. Misunderstanding, misunderstanding. Boss Ivy and I are innocent. The person she likes is someone else. The person in charge laughed in a meaningful way. Innocent? Why are you still defending her like that? I still remember last year when I took people to dinner with Boss Ivy. Someone who didn't know better took advantage of you going out to answer the phone and forced Boss Ivy to drink. Who knew you would get so angry? Luckily, you only smashed the glass on that person's head, not pick up the whole bottle and smash it. Who do you think you were to dare to make Boss Ivy toast? You first. The glass smashed on that person's forehead, blood flowing down to his eyes, obscuring his vision, but he didn't dare to wipe it or cry out in pain. Ivy tugged at the corner of my clothes, whispering, Cole, you like this? I'm scared. I was startled, only then realizing what I had done. Recalling the past, I suddenly wanted to have a few drinks with Ivy. Ivy, in the future, the world of main characters, I, an NPC, won't interfere anymore. Finally, thank you for giving me so much money. As a result, the party ended. She was sober, and I was throwing up. I sat by the roadside, throwing up until the world spun. Ivy panicked, patting my back. Cole, do you really love me so much? My mind was dizzy, basically unable to react. The surroundings were quiet under the dim streetlights. Ivy's eyes were flushed red, her dark eyes staring at me intently. Her cold fingertips gently brushed across my face. I don't know how long it was before I heard her softly say, Cole, I won't pursue Cole anymore. I only felt her slender hand icy cold, making my burning face feel comfortable in the late autumn weather. Her words were carried away by the wind, so they were unclear. So she repeated it again, Cole, I won't pursue Cole anymore. Waking up the next morning, I pondered for a while, then expressionlessly covered my face with the blanket. Let me just die like this. I already have mind-reading power. Being reborn once is also normal. Maybe it's because it's too stuffy in the blanket. My face is burning hot. Very good. If you have the ability, suffocate me to death. 2 minutes later, wait. My money is not spent yet. I can't die yet. Open my phone, 30 missed calls from Ivy and a text message. I'm waiting for you downstairs, 4 hours ago. I still want to die. Ivy seemed to really not plan to pursue Cole anymore. She was waiting beside the silver-white car. Although she had waited for more than 3 hours, there was no impatience in her eyes. Golden ginkgo leaves fell, scattering on her shoulders, but she was unaware. Don't know what she was thinking. The corner of her mouth bloomed into a faint smile. Ivy, what is the punishment when you give up the task? Ivy suddenly raised her head, the smile on her lips even clearer, awake. I nodded, hurriedly explaining, too drunk last night. I'm just like that. When I'm drunk, I'm like this. Really sorry. I looked at Ivy's expression gradually darkening, continuing to speak unknowingly. Also not very good, drunk to the point of talking nonsense, saying something about power-up progress. So funny. Ivy's expression gradually paled. She pursed her lips into a sharp straight line. Oh really? Ivy suddenly laughed. So that's it. then suddenly stopped laughing, coldly saying, "Why did I think you really liked me?" After speaking, she turned around and left. I arranged to meet Cole, telling him that all these years, Ivy and I had nothing going on. Ivy pursuing him was real, and everything between Ivy and me was fake. Cole pondered for a while, then asked me, "So what?" I was stunned by his question. "So you can not care and be with Ivy?" Cole laughed. "Why should I be with Ivy? Even if you have nothing to do with her, even if she really likes me, must I be with her? Why don't you ask if I like her or not?" He shook his head, his eyes flashing with a peculiar light. "My relationship with Boss Ivy only has respect and gratitude, no other thoughts. These years I just want to do well in my career, don't want to waste time on love. I want to see how far I can go." I was silent for a moment. Since when did this man who always wanted Ivy to value him more? If not, he would never stop, because Ivy's gaze has changed again. Cole leaned closer to me again. "Cole, you only said you two have nothing going on. Why don't you say she doesn't like you? Why don't you say you don't like her? Just now, when you said you two have nothing going on, do you know how ugly your expression was?" "Ugly expression?" "Ugly expression is normal when you're suffering." Cole gritted his teeth. "Cole, you coward. You are the male lead, of course it's okay. But we NPCs are very easy to die, okay?" On the way home, I couldn't help but frown, thinking about countermeasures. Before even getting home, I saw Ivy standing downstairs from afar, her hair disheveled, her spirits low. This male lead seems even easier to kill than me. Ivy saw me and bloomed into a rare smile. "Great, finally met you." I was stunned, my whole body stiff. Clearly it was only autumn. Why did I feel so cold to the bone? You are." Ivy walked towards me, her expression indifferent as if saying something very ordinary. I was bound by the system, requiring me to power up the male lead Cole. 2 hours ago I gave up. Before you, powering up anyone was fine for me. Her gaze stopped on me, slightly paused. "But after meeting you, that person can only be you, Cole. Even if you don't love me, I can't go and power up someone else. You are my male lead. I have no other choice. Power up failure will be punished. I will probably disappear soon. So I wanted to come and see you." She threw herself into my arms, her voice firm and passionate. "Cole, I deliberately came to see you. I want you to never forget me. Even if you don't love me, you must remember me." After a long while, I opened my mouth, my voice choked up, but I tried to suppress it. "Ivy, why did you give up? Who knows, if you try a little harder, maybe it would work." Ivy hugged me tightly, not letting go. "Cole, everything can be tried. Only liking someone is effortless and cannot be forced." I couldn't hold back my tears anymore, sobbing, hugging Ivy tightly, afraid she would disappear in the next second. I finally couldn't help but say the truth. "I like you, Ivy. I don't want you to disappear. I have never hated myself for just being an NPC, to the point that even the right to like someone is gone." I hugged Ivy, crying for a whole hour, crying until my tears dried up, but she was still safe and sound. I couldn't cry anymore. Ivy's eyes were slightly dark, suddenly. "You don't like me that much." I pinched my thigh hard, tears immediately streaming down. I continued to cry. "Isn't it enough?" Another half-hour passed. Ivy was still safe and sound, and I was about to die. Finally, half an hour later, Ivy received a text message from the system. Ivy's expression was a little strange, cried too early. "Seems like I don't need to die anymore." I breathed a sigh of relief, only to hear her say, "But I'm out of money." Ivy winked at me. "Cole, you won't dislike me, right?" "Oh, just now the system told me that to increase the fun of powering up, they also gave me mind-reading power for the person being powered up, Cole." Smitten. "You tell me, what is going on?" I smiled. As a result, when Ivy had nothing left, I couldn't help but doubt if I still loved Ivy. But I found out I still loved her. A truly disappointing discovery. I really loved her too much. Turns out loving Ivy was my destiny. Indeed, money earned from Ivy will eventually be spent on her. The money I earned from Ivy now has to be used to support her. Cole texted me. "Wedding date set?" Ha. Wedding day, Cole became my best man. He was a little emotional. The most money-grubbing person in the end married someone without money. I was also emotional. The most love-obsessed person decided not to marry for the sake of career. He adjusted my tie for me. This is the life we chose for ourselves. I suddenly remembered, finally asking the question I always wanted to ask. Cole, have you awakened? Yeah, I went from being a male lead back to being myself. I just thought that day when I was called to the office, I thought, turns out true effort will be seen. So I want to let more people see me. I want to stand in a higher position, look at the scenery from a higher place, and also become the scenery in other people's eyes. I asked him, beautiful? He smiled, then asked me back, so how did you awaken? I originally didn't want to say, but couldn't stand Cole constantly asking, finally embarrassedly saying, because Ivy gave too much, making me reluctant to leave. Following the plot, I just awakened like that. Cole laughed at me for a long time, laughing until tears came out, but in the end he just sighed, really good, we all write our own lives. Yeah, really good. Ivy's voice echoed from inside the room. Cole, why haven't you come in to pick me up yet? Extra. Ivy was suddenly bound by the system, requiring me to power up the male lead Cole, but I mistook Cole for him. He was wearing a white t-shirt, simple and casual jeans, unrestrained and generous. My gaze couldn't leave him. I instinctively determined he was the male lead, or rather, I hoped he was the male lead. I asked him what he liked. He said without hesitation, money. His straightforwardness surprised me, but luckily I was very rich. I gave him money to buy a house, gifted him a watch, but the power-up progress was still 0. I didn't want to think deeply, just planned to give him more money next time, more valuable things, but he seemed to think I was giving too many things, so he felt uneasy, striving to work hard to repay me. Many people said Cole was diligent. In fact, Cole's efforts were not inferior at all, only my efforts were only seen by me. Later, the power-up time was running out, and the progress was still 0. I didn't want to believe that Cole had no feelings for me, preferring to believe that I had powered up the wrong person from the beginning. I used my attitude towards Cole to test Cole, but when I saw him disappointed, I couldn't help but hate myself, but couldn't help but secretly rejoice. He loves me. So the power-up target must be Cole. I gave up Cole and started pursuing Cole, but the gifts I gave, I unconsciously chose things Cole liked. Cole didn't like it. He said to me righteously, what kind of despicable person am I to need to become a part of your game? Coincidentally, I was caught by Cole. Wouldn't Cole misunderstand? Wouldn't he be heartbroken? He really was very heartbroken, wanting to leave. I agreed. Wait for me to finish everything. Cole waited for me. But that night when I saw him confess his true feelings, I didn't want to wait anymore. I didn't want to power up anymore. How could I both miss him and turn around to power up someone else? I decided to give up powering up. Power-up failure will be punished, I know, but I thought I probably wouldn't die. But Cole said he didn't like me. Why didn't he like me? I didn't believe it. So I lied to him that I was about to die. He really cried very sadly, sobbing and saying, I like you, Ivy. I don't want you to disappear. Okay, I won't disappear. As long as you love me.